What's up, everyone? This is your host, Marco.
And this is your host, Clayton.
And you're watching the
PreDental Podcast. Oh, yeah.
Boom.
So, on this exciting episode of the PreDental Podcast, we will be going over, so, you got into dental school. Now what?
Now what?
That's our thumbnail that we just made there, so...
Also, this is, I think, our 7th attempt at starting the episode.
It's so sad.
But we're here, we're hanging.
Yep.
Let's get right smack dab into the action.
Let's do it.
So, biggest question people ask after acceptance is, now what?
Now what?
Thumbnail part 2.
So do I need to be studying right now? Do I need to be going out and working in a dental office? Do I need to be getting prepared for gross anatomy? Do I need to start finding a place to live? Do I need to break up with my girlfriend? Do I need to get married to my girlfriend?
No to any of that.
All of it?
First things first, chill out. Congratulations, you got into dental school.
Exactly.
The hard part is over. Honestly, the hardest part of dental school is getting accepted.
Right.
So once you receive that acceptance letter, don't worry about everything else. Take a second, go out to dinner with your family, relax, just enjoy the fact that you made it. Exactly. This is what you worked so hard for.
Exactly. You have been working so hard to get to this point. Celebrate it. Celebrate with your friends. Celebrate with your family. Because once you get into dental school, it's going to be hard to make time for your friends and family and time to celebrate. So take advantage of the time that you have right now and celebrate this victory.
Too easy.
Yep.
So yeah, chill out, get dinner, all that good stuff. And another thing that we advise is if you can fit it into your schedule before you start dental school, is take a trip of some sort, you know?
Right.
Get some of your best friends, get some of your family, just people that you're close with, and go somewhere fun, have a change of scenery. I know most of you are probably going to be having a change of scenery when you move to dental school, but it's a little bit different. I mean, even if you do travel to that city, I mean, we moved to New Orleans and, you know, we came here a couple weeks beforehand and just acted like tourists, and that was fun.
Right.
Just get away, do something, make lasting memories. That way, when you're in dental school and it's difficult, you can think back of, well, you know, I got into dental school and then I had this really awesome trip and I'm super thankful for it that I got to spend that time with my friends and family before I got extremely busy.
And some of you may be wondering too, and you're saying, well, I have a job. You know, I can't really do that. Because that's a great thing about this podcast, about the show, is that Marco and I are different. You know, Marco graduated undergrad and then came straight to dental school. I didn't. So I graduated undergrad, took some classes, and then got a job. So I was still in my job right before I started dental school. But what I did do, I went ahead and took off a month early. That way I could get everything in line. I could figure out where I'm living. I could move down here. I could have a little bit of fun with family and friends. And you're not going to make enough in that last month to cover up like all of those memories that you could have made. So just take off a month early and have some fun with your friends and family.
I agree with that completely. The amount of money that you're probably, I mean, I don't know, some people want to be engineers.
Yeah.
And they're quitting like a very steady job, but for the large majority of you, you're probably working minimum wage or $10 to $12 an hour, unless that is minimum wage wherever you live.
Yeah.
But yeah, just take off. The finances will take care of themselves. And I know they're scary. I know student loans are scary, but just go for it, because when you're done with dental school, you're going to be in the top 5% in the nation as far as income earners go, and you're going to be able to pay those loans back.
Exactly. So we have a lot of hard classes when you first start to dental school. So we have gross anatomy, we have morphology, we have histology. Should they start studying for those classes right now?
No. So you guys were all expected to take, not expected, you had to take prerequisites in order to get into dental school. And those prerequisites may vary by the type of dental school that you go to. You know, some require one semester of physics, one semester, but the basics are the same. And those classes are designed to give you the prerequisite knowledge you need to start the dental school classes.
Right.
So we advise against studying additionally. I mean, if you know a little bit of morphology, that's great. But trust me, when you get to dental school, they are going to teach you everything that you need to know.
And you're paying a lot of money for them to do that. So you do not want to start studying something and it be wrong and it be different than the way your professor teaches it. So don't worry about it. Stop stressing about it. It's going to be okay. If Marco and I got here, you're going to be fine. You're going to be okay. So just stop stressing if that's what you're doing right now. If you're not stressing about it, great. But we also have some other advice. So
right.
With prerequisites, you can kind of get in a bad situation.
Yeah, so we can use my story as an example.
I think we should. I think that's a really good story.
I waited until the very end to take Physics 2. I took it at some online Joe Schmo college because at that point, LSU School of Dentistry had approved for me to take it versus taking it at the University of Arkansas, because I was working pretty much every day and taking it online allowed me to continue that job so I could save up some money. but I ended up procrastinating because it was self-paced. Me procrastinating?
You procrastinating? Wow, surely not.
So anyways, ended up being the last person in my class to finish their prerequisites and submit all of it. It was a very last minute thing, but here's the deal. If I hadn't finished that class, or I hadn't passed that class, then I would not have fulfilled all the agreed upon requirements that were asked of me in order to go to dental school. So at that point, they would have had the right to revoke my acceptance.
And this podcast would have never happened if he would not have finished physics. So, do you have to make an A in your prerequisite courses after you get accepted? No. You just need to pass them. They don't want to see your GPA just dramatically slump. You still want to try to do as well as you can, but you do not need to stress about getting an A. You don't have to stress about getting a 4.0 if it's your last semester. So just don't worry about it. Get them finished, but don't worry about making a perfect score in that class.
Agreed. Just get it done, get the B, get the C, whatever you need to do, and get on out of there, because it's not going to matter. I mean, again, you've gotten into dental school. The hard part is over.
Exactly. So another worry that Marco and I had, because we are out of state, we're 8 hours away from New Orleans, is where we were going to live. And the way that Marco and I found out, well, Marco kind of knew a guy, and then and that's usually how it is. Like, you just know somebody, and then they know somebody, and it just works out.
Right. So
how'd you meet this person?
So this is probably going to be the one time that we advocate that you guys should go on Student Doctor Network.
Right.
Find your official class thread. So every class has one. So if you're watching this as of right now, you'll be looking for class of 2024. Find your class thread and see if there's a link to a GroupMe that's been created, because at this point, I can almost guarantee there's a GroupMe for every class out there. And then for sure, there is a Facebook page that's been created. So find at least one of those, and you can start sending messages. Hey, I don't know anyone in the class, and I'm from 1,000 miles away.
Right.
I have no idea where I would live in this area. Is anyone looking for a roommate?
And that's great advice. And that's what a lot of people do, because a lot of times upperclassmen will also join those Facebook groups and say, hey, I'm graduating this year. Here's this 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. This is how much it is. I really love the house. So don't be afraid to reach out to those upperclassmen either, because they're going to know which areas of the city to live and which areas you really need to avoid as well.
Right.
Marco and I kind of ran into that situation because we found a great house on Zillow for a great price, but
we were going to make up for it because more than likely we would be robbed if we were in the area. It was just a very sketchy part of town, and it was a nice house, and it was a very, very affordable price. But honestly, most dental schools are in cities, in larger cities where crime happens. Not that crime doesn't happen in small cities, but when you pay a little bit more to live in a nicer neighborhood, you're also paying for that security factor. I know, like our neighborhood, they pay the police department a little bit more to come do checks every once in a while, just to have more of a presence. So that's what part of your rent goes towards, and honestly, it's well worth it, just having the peace of mind, because it only takes getting robbed once in order to pretty much like the whole cost difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Is what you lose out of that. Get renter's insurance. For sure, you can get renter's insurance for pretty cheap, and just in the event that anything happens, because you never know when something's going to happen.
Exactly. And if you live close enough, like we lived 8 hours away, but we were still able to come down here and kind of explore and see what areas we really liked and which areas we really didn't. So if you do live close enough, go ahead and go visit the city. If you live far away, I mean, we have people from Idaho and California and Florida, so they live a little bit further than we did and weren't able to do that. But they were able to join the Facebook groups and kind of see, where everybody was planning to live.
Exactly. So the next question you might be asking is, okay, you're probably gonna have a security deposit, you're gonna have rent, and you have to pay for school, and you have to get scrubs. I mean, we're literally wearing our scrubs right now. So you might be asking, how are you gonna pay for it? And I'll let Clayton touch on that one.
So if you're like me, you did not take loans out in undergrad, so you have no idea how loans work. Some of you did take out loans in undergrad and kind of know how they work, but I had no idea going into it. So this is just very brief. You're going to have two options when you come into dental school. So the very first option, the first loan that you're going to take out when you do get to dental school, is your federal direct unsubsidized loan. And that loan is $45,000 a year, so it's split up equally each semester. And the interest rate on that, just so you know, is 6.08%. And the bad thing about graduate loans compared to undergraduate loans, that unsubsidized part means that it starts accruing interest the day you take it out. So it's going to start accruing interest immediately. And since I worked while I was taking in my prereqs and stuff, I was able to save up some money. So what I do is I pay off the interest every month. That way it doesn't continue to compound on itself. So if you have that chance and if you have that opportunity, I would do it. If not, don't worry about it. You're going to be able to pay it off.
Right, and then the next loan that you can get is the Federal Direct Plus, or like the Grad Plus loan. And that comes at 7% interest, so definitely not fun. But here's the deal: is you have to maximize your federal direct unsubsidized loan at $45,000 before you can touch that more expensive loan, because that really just wouldn't make sense to take out the more expensive loan
first
when you have a cheaper loan. But it's by law anyways, you have to maximize that first one. So your school will create a cost of attendance, so they're going to factor in what they believe is the average price of living in the area, including rent, utilities, travel, leisure, groceries, all that, and they submit a final number to the US government, and that's the maximum amount of the loans that you can take through the federal unsubsidized and the Grad Plus. So any additional loans that you would need besides that would have to come from some private industry or a bank. So I think maxing out both is more than enough. First semester is kind of tight because you have to buy instruments and laptops and all that. So regardless, it's going to be a tight squeeze. But second semester, you have more than enough income in order to cover all your expenses.
Exactly. And what you need to know too is before you can even apply for these loans, you have to have your FAFSA completed. And we talked about procrastinating and things like that. The FAFSA is one thing you do not want to procrastinate.
Right. So if you got into dental school and you're watching this video right now and you haven't filled out your FAFSA yet, click the pause button and go fill out your FAFSA. It takes less than 10 minutes. Just fill it out because your loans can't be processed until that's done. And if it's not done by April 15th, they can actually delay your loans from hitting. That happened to a couple of people in our class, unfortunately. Exactly. And the loans already take about 2 or 3 weeks to process after school starts. So yeah, it takes 10 minutes. Don't let that be the thing you procrastinate. There's so many other things that you can procrastinate that will work themselves out, but the FAFSA is a non-negotiable factor.
Exactly. And if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't even know how to apply for these loans when they're coming out, the dental school that you've been accepted to, they're going to email you a whole long list of things that you need to do. One of those things is going to be applying for loans, and it's going to tell you exactly how you need to do it and exactly where to go. If you're confused about it still, just contact financial aid at your school. They will be more than happy to help you because they know not everyone has done this. So don't be afraid to contact them if you're still confused about it.
Right. Wait until you receive all the instructions because they are going to send you everything in detail. And if you're still confused at that point, don't hesitate, especially not with your money and especially not with the amount that you're going to more than likely be taking out if loans are something that you're interested in.
Exactly. And we have a few common sense things now that we just want to make sure that y'all are aware of. And what are those common sense things, Marco?
Basically, it comes down to an easy golden rule of don't do anything between right now and the beginning of school that's going to jeopardize your ability to get into school.
Exactly.
So don't make bad decisions. Don't do reckless behavior that you could potentially break your hand, something like that, because that just wouldn't be fun.
Not at all.
But yeah, we're not going to go into detail here. No. Just make good decisions. Just lay low. Have some fun. Enjoy your final semester or enjoy these few months until dental school begins for you. But just be careful and be conscious with the decisions that you make because you have a lot to lose. Some people like using the expression, "Oh, I got nothing to lose. It's okay." I've played that using poker sometimes, but you do have a lot to lose. This is a program that you've worked so hard and you've invested so much to get to. So don't let a dumb decision stop you from reaching that point. So that's, unless you have anything, that's pretty much all we have to say about it.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to parent you. You know how you should act. But we've said this is like the third time we've said this. Don't procrastinate things that you need to get done because the school's going to send you a list of everything that you need to do. Do not worry about that right now because they're going to send you a list of everything you need to do. But don't wait until the month before school starts to do it. Because you're going to have to get your CPR certification, you're going to have to do your TB skin test, you're going to have to do a physical, you're going to have to get all your vaccination records. But like I said, they're going to send you a list of things you need to do, but just don't procrastinate doing them. Get them done as soon as you possibly can.
Right. Don't underestimate the amount of time that it's going to take you to get all of that paperwork.
Exactly.
Because it just takes a while. It takes a while to get doctor's appointments. It takes a while to get all your tests done. And if you miss something, you might have to go back. Or if you don't fill out the paperwork correctly, you're going to have to go back. So pretty much any doctor that you see or doctor's office, they're going to understand, okay. In fact, I know when I got my test done, the doctor was coming in there and he was like, listen, just like whatever you need me to sign, like whatever you need me to help you out with, let me just do it properly, but let's get it done. He goes, I remember when I was in your shoes and I had to get all my paperwork done for med school because they have a similar process as far as matriculating students. So they're going to be on your side. They're going to help you.
Exactly.
But don't procrastinate it.
Exactly. So just get your stuff done. And a question that I had coming into dental school, the question that Marco had coming into dental school was, can I have a pet? And am I going to have time to have a pet?
Yes, but it goes back to dental school just being one big block of time management.
Yes.
You can do whatever you want. You can travel every weekend if you really wanted to and you really manage your time that well. But you have to manage it well, and you only have so many hours in the day, so you need to allot those for certain things. Like, for example, we're using a couple of hours that we could have been studying to make this podcast because we truly enjoy making podcasts and we truly enjoy communicating with you all.
Right. And I could not imagine my life in dental school without Winnie. And I don't think Marco could imagine his life without Stella.
Those are our dogs, by the way.
Yeah. I guess I should have clarified that. But we love them to death because, you get home from a stressful day at school. Your dogs always love you. They're always happy to see you, no matter what. Always happy to see you. So it makes a great stress relief. Then you can take them on a walk and everything like that. So it's very helpful to have a dog. But we also have to make time to have those pets because we come home sometimes in our lunch breaks to let them out, especially if it's going to be a long day. We have to plan like who's going to keep them. Shout out to Maddie Churchman for watching them so many times for us.
Maddie Churchman's the GOAT.
She is. She truly is. So we have to plan things a lot more than some people do because we have animals. It wouldn't change it for the world, but
Wouldn't change it for the world.
no. And so yes, you can have pets, but you also need to remember when you're looking at places to live, they may not allow you to have a pet. So make sure you coordinate those things accordingly.
I really wish someone would take the time and effort to write some type of article or publication that outlines everything that you need to know about owning a dog in dental school.
Oh man.
If only there was someone, like maybe his name was Marco, and he did a publication for ASDA in their blog that you could easily find, just what to know about owning a dog in dental school.
If only.
If only. Look it up. So anyways.
Shameless self-plug there. Shameless self-plug.
So I'm going to let Clayton speak on this one mainly, and then I'll give my 2 cents. But the question is, should I break up with my significant other?
So, before I came to dental school, my wonderful, amazing girlfriend and I started dating. We've been dating about 6 months, 8 months before I came to dental school. So, we had to sit down, we had to talk about it. Dental school is going to be my life, it's going to take up a lot of time. Are you going to be okay with that? And Emily, being literally the most amazing person in the world, she said, yeah, why would I not? It's your dream. You can do whatever you want. I will never hold you back from doing what you want to do. And so that's a conversation that you need to have with your significant other. You need to sit them down and say, hey, I'm going to dental school. It's going to take a lot of my time. Are you going to be okay with that? And it was very important too because Emily and I live 8 hours apart and we still live 8 hours apart. So you're going to have to make time to go see them and they're going to have to make time to come see you. And it's been amazing to see how much time Emily has spent coming down here. I mean, she's just incredible. I love her to death, and she's just done so well with it, and she's been a huge help to me and encouraging me to continue on even when I have a stressful day. So she's been great at helping me stay focused. So if you can sit down with that person and they can say yes, go for it, you need to keep that person because they're going to help you tremendously. If you sit down with that person and they say, well, I don't know, I'm really just I hate that you're not going to be here, I don't know if I can do it, I don't know, it's hard, but you may need to consider breaking up with that person because it's going to be stressful in dental school enough, and it's going to be even more stressful if you have someone that's trying to drag you back or you can't trust or something like that. So that's just a conversation that you need to sit down and have if you haven't already had it.
Right, and just seeing it from my perspective of how you and Emily have worked things out, I know not seeing each other all that much was a big concern, but
right.
They really made it work. If we have an upcoming week where there's not any tests, then Clayton usually tries to go back to Arkansas or he tries to go back for weddings and things like that. And then whenever Emily catches a break in her schedule, she typically tries to come down here, and they've really done a good job at communicating, talking on the phone every day. But I will say, dental school is a full-time job.
It is.
And with that, you have to make sacrifices because today we called a break and we were at school from 9 to noon, which is partially why we're able to do this episode today. But usually it would have been 9 to 3 or 9 to 5. It's a full-time job, and then you have to study afterwards. And the person that you're with has to understand that there's going to be sacrifices with that. But it's also only for 4 years. It's not going to be like this for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So if you're with someone who understands the sacrifice and understands that this isn't permanent, not the relationship, but dental school, that dental school isn't permanent, then I say go for it. I think Clayton and Emily are a great testament that it can work out, and it can work out well with the right individual. But, long distance is difficult, and it's just a serious conversation that you're going to need to have, because you don't want to be in the middle of a dental school semester and then you're freaking out about your significant other. Oh my goodness, they went to a party and you don't know what happened. Like, you need to have that trust with them, and if it's the right person, go for it, but have that conversation.
It's extremely, communication is key in anything, especially in a relationship, especially when you're 8 hours away from that other individual. But if it works and you think it's going to work, continue. There's no need to just break it off because you're coming to dental school.
So
that's that.
Dating 101.
Dating
Valentine's Day.
Dating 101. Clayton and Marco. So coming into dental school, you have options. You're like, can I be a general dentist? Do I want to be an oral surgeon? Do I want to be an endodontist? What should they know right now?
No. So I've never done a root canal before.
I haven't.
You've never done a root canal before.
You don't want me to.
I don't know how to spell periodontics, pterodactyl. That's the specialty. There's so many things that you're going to learn in dental school, and part of that is all the different specialties. You may have an idea of, generally if you want to be like an oral surgeon or something, because maybe you worked in that type of office throughout your undergrad experience or before you came to dental school. But the only real advice we can give you is just keep your grades up if specializing is something that you want to consider. But the school will expose you to it eventually. You don't have to hit the ground running from day one. Oh my goodness, I'm going to be an endodontist. Because who knows, maybe you just really detest root canals. Like, they're awful. Or like maybe you come to find out that you love working with children and you never saw yourself as a pediatric dentist, but here you are applying to a pediatric specialty 4 years from now. So just keep your options open and don't ever brush things off. Some people will say, I don't want to really learn how to do fillings that well because I'm not going to need to do them because I'm going to be an oral surgeon. Well, what happens if you don't get the residency? Now you're stuck as a bad dentist who can't do solid work for their patients.
Exactly. And I think the whole theme of this episode is just stop stressing about it. Don't worry about it because it's going to be okay. You're going to figure out what you want to do once you get into dental school because you're going to have the opportunities to shadow those people. You're going to have the opportunities to talk with residents who are going through that. So you're going to know a whole lot more about it once you're going through dental school. So just don't worry about it right now. It's going to be okay.
Right. So one final question here is, am I going to be able to go to weddings and or other events? And answer is
yes, but you have to realize, like we said, dental school is a full-time job. So they expect you to be at every single class. Some professors take attendance, some professors don't take attendance, but they expect you to be at every single class. Some professors are really good about it. So if you tell them that, you have a wedding coming up, my sister's graduation is coming up, then they're going to be really good about helping you out. And
hey, Nick.
Our roommate just mooned us. Our roommate just mooned us.
Breaking news.
Breaking news, everyone. But some professors are really good about, some professors are really good about scheduling around things, so they're going to help you out. So like my sister's graduation is coming up in May. She's graduating from nursing school. I want to be there for that. But we have our operative final on that day. So I went ahead and emailed the professor and he said, we should be able to work around that. But you want to go ahead and plan it out early and let them know. That way they can plan it as well.
Right. I don't think I have much more to say on that besides, sometimes it is just the luck of the draw. You're going to have a professor that's very strict and says, no, we're not going to reschedule. And sometimes you're going to have to give it up. They told us that on day one is that being the best man or being in a bridal party is not an excuse to miss school.
Exactly.
Because it goes back to this is a full-time job and you're going to have to make sacrifices. Exactly. Now, that doesn't mean that schools are never going to work with you and that faculty are never going to work with you, but it really is a case-by-case basis.
Right.
Now, if there's a family emergency, that is totally different. Right. So if there is a death in the family or you're just going through a really hard time for whatever reason, the school, I guarantee you, is going to work with you on that because they want to see you succeed. Back in the day, dental schools were kind of like, let's try and weed some of them out. That's how law schools are now. But now, every single student that gets accepted to dental school and starts orientation week and gets into the class, they want every single one of those people to graduate. They might hold you back a year, repeating D1 or something, but eventually they want you all to graduate. So they're going to do everything they can to keep you in the class.
Exactly. And we really hope this episode has been helpful. We hope that we've answered some questions and calmed some fears. A button should have just popped up on the screen, and if you just click that, then you could subscribe to this channel, and we would really appreciate that. That way, anytime we post some new content, you'll get notified about it. We thank you so much, and you have been watching the PreDental Podcast.
Boom.